Hi everyone, once again my name is Stephen Benson from the Office of Literacy and welcome to the ELA Grade 10 Week 1 Lesson 2 video. Before we jump into today's lesson, I wanted to tell everyone what they can expect from these videos. Each video will be a little different depending on the lesson, but there will be a general structure that each video will follow. First, you will always see a list of the resources and materials needed for the lesson. Next, you will always see a brief overview of the learning for the lesson. Next, you'll see a quick model for some of the reading, thinking, speaking, and writing required for the lesson. And finally, you'll see a preview of the learning for upcoming lessons. Before we get started, it's customary for me to share a joke of the day, so hopefully you like it today. What do you call a can opener that doesn't work? Anyone? A can't opener. Get it? Because it doesn't work. It can't open. Okay, back to serious stuff. What are the materials that you need for this lesson? So once again, this is in your packet, so make sure you're following along. For lesson 2, you will need to watch this video, which is what you're doing right now. You'll need to read the text preview page, which you'll see if you keep going down in your packet. And you need to complete the vocabulary and text preview activities, which once again are also further down in the packet. And once you start the lesson, if you forgot what these resources are, it's listed again here. So a quick overview of what you're learning today. If you see this information here in your packet, you'll see the target is listed. And the target is, I can understand the expectations during this extended learning time and can make connections between different selections, tasks, and the essential questions. So essentially today you're going to get a preview of all that you'll be doing throughout the entire unit. As mentioned yesterday, every single lesson follows the same format. It's the read, think, talk, write protocol. So what are you reading today? You're going to be reading the text preview page, which you can find a little bit farther down in your packet. And what are you thinking about today? You're thinking about materialism, this idea that sometimes people want more than they can have or need. And you're going to be thinking about it as you look at the text on the text preview page. You're going to be thinking about how each of those texts, based on what you see on that page, may relate to this concept of materialism. You're also going to see 5 academic words that are listed in bold there, and you're responsible for defining these words on your note catcher because these words will be helpful for you to know when you're navigating the learning throughout the entire unit. And once again, all of this that you have to complete can be found on the note catcher for today. So after you complete the read and think part, you're then going to move on to talk and write. For talk, you're going to engage with a family member, a caregiver, or a friend on this question: what do our possessions reveal about us? So everything that we buy, what does it actually tell about us as people? And then the writing component today is to, on your note catcher once again, document which text from the text preview page you're most interested in reading, learning more about, and why. And then finally, as I said before, this is on the note catcher. So if you're ever confused where anything should be written, just go to your note catcher and it'll all make sense. Lastly, you're going to engage in the closing, and the closing today involves sharing your top reading selection with someone. So whatever selection you are most excited for, interested in, based on your analysis of the text preview page, you're going to share that with someone else. And then just a reminder, we encourage all students to read a book for 20 minutes, any book that you want. So the quick model today is around engaging with the text preview page. So if I was a student completing this ELA packet, here's how I would approach this text preview page. And I encourage you all to follow the same process if you feel like this will be helpful for you. So the first step is to find the text preview page, and that's in your packet, it's the next page down. And I'm going to remind myself what I actually have to do with the text preview page. And so I'm going to go back to my packet and read the think part again. It tells me that I have to think about ways that each text might relate to the concept of materialism. So if I forgot what materialism is, I could rewatch the video. From a minute ago, I talked about what materialism is. I also could go back into my notes from day 1 because I remember reading a launch text about materialism. But I also could go on Google and research materialism or ask a family member or a friend for their opinion as well. I'm also going to keep reading in the right section though, because there's more I have to do with this text preview page based on what I have to do in the writing section. And it says here that I have to Think about which of these texts from the preview page I'm most interested in reading and why. But it also says that I may want to mention other texts that I've read, or movies or television shows that I've seen, or even songs that deal with similar issues of materialism. So I have to think about all of this when I'm navigating this text preview page. And I'm going to show you how I would approach this just with this first text that's listed here, and then you can complete the rest of it on your own, or even the same first text again, just in a different way. So the first text listed on the left here is called The Necklace. And I'm thinking about materialism, I'm thinking about a necklace. I see this picture here. It looks like a really fancy necklace. Not a necklace that maybe I could buy for really cheap, but one that maybe costs thousands of dollars from a really fancy jewelry store. So if I had to make a prediction about how this text may relate to the idea of materialism, maybe it has to do with buying really fancy things to look nice. And so maybe I'd make a quick little note here that says, expensive necklace, people want to look fancy. I'm making a prediction and an inference. I've actually never read this text. I'm not going to read it until a little bit later in the week. And so it's totally appropriate for this assignment to you just to make for you to make a prediction based on what you see there. So that was just a quick model with just one text from the text preview page. There's way more you have to complete on your own. So now it's your turn. Continue with the same process of reading the different texts from the text preview page. Read the titles, look at the pictures, and make an inference for each text on how it relates to this concept of materialism. Then don't forget for the think part, you also have to define those 5 academic words that are listed there in bold. And then there's also more that you have to complete for the talk, write, and closing components. And just a friendly reminder that all of this can be found on your note catcher. Before we wrap up for today, I wanted to give a quick preview of the learning for tomorrow's lesson, lesson 3. The target is I can identify the elements of effective informative text and can evaluate evidence to use in the launch text. So you're going to go back to that launch text you read yesterday, and you're going to look for different elements of effective informative texts. If you have any questions throughout any of this, we definitely recommend you reach out to a parent, caregiver, or a friend, but you also can email your teacher for support. You may already know their email address, but in case you don't, I wanted to tell you that every single teacher across the district has the same format for their email. It's their first name, their last name at DetroitK12.org. If you don't remember their first name, you can go on PowerSchool, and their first name should be listed there under your schedule. For example, if your teacher's name was Mary Shields, her email address would be mary.shields@DetroitK12.org. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and remember, keep learning.